Mario Kart is more successful than any AAA video game franchise. This is like the reality that people need to wrap their minds around because I keep seeing people cope and seethe about Mario Kart, saying it's not doing well or that it's not as good as 8 Deluxe. You're seeing people like try and say that like, oh, it's not a AAA game. Well, no, because it's bigger than AAA games. It does better than AAA games. It has better profit margins than AAA games. Like that's true for I would say like quite a few Nintendo franchises actually. We really do need to like talk more about how the Mario brand is bigger than Grand Theft Auto because the giant cope has always been that like well Grand Theft Auto sells like 200 million units or whatever. It's completely not understanding the fact that these games are ludicrously expensive to make, take forever to come out, and have no spin-off potential whatsoever. As opposed to something like Mario Kart, which to the Mario brand, which has merchandisable characters, it has like endless potential for growth and expansion, spin-off material, dozens of different characters. Like the Mario brand is just better produced than Grand Theft Auto in general, right? Grand Theft Auto is only relevant because of our crime obsessed culture, right? It's bare bones, it's basic, it has nothing going for it. It is just popular for superficial reasons, essentially. It is like the video game equivalent of Avatar. To be perfectly blunt with you, like nobody actually likes playing Grand Theft Auto. They like the idea of Grand Theft Auto, of like stealing cars and committing crimes. Like it's just something that appeals to a simplistic, childish mind. I do think that's like the major takeaway when it comes to Grand Theft Auto is that it is a children's game, for little bitty children who have not matured. So, Grand Theft Auto, being a children's game, doesn't have the growth or the potential to match up with something like the Mario brand, which is for all ages, which is a completely different thing. Because you can see how Mario appeals to people of all age groups and demographics, while Grand Theft Auto only appeals to children. That is like the difference in quality that we're talking about here. Is that Mario can do anything he wants, while Grand Theft Auto is very, very strictly relegated to its very, very narrow formula. If it deviates from that formula at all, they will lose a lot of sales. And I think you are going to see this with Grand Theft Auto 6 specifically, where like it's just not going to be as well received as 5. Critics are going to love it, but like I think players are going to be more and more conflicted about like Grand Theft Auto just being incapable of evolving or progressing, and that's the biggest video game franchise on the planet, right? Everything else, Call of Duty, the annual sports games, whatever, The Last of Us, like none of that can like really compete with Nintendo at all. None of that even really comes close, honestly. And it does need to be talked about more, I would say, like just how much more successful Nintendo's brands like Mario Kart are compared to its direct competition, because you are going to see Mario Kart World consistently do well throughout the console generation. It will remain one of the most popular games on the console. It will remain like this highly regarded thing, and by the time the next game comes out, you're going to see a lot of people say World was the peak of the series. Just like how you see a lot of the same people saying 8 Deluxe was the peak of that series. And keep in mind, it's really easy to forget this, but Mario Kart 8 was a very controversial game when it first came out. Like it's kind of amazing looking back on it, but like people were seething about that game. The character roster, the visuals, the consoles on. People like hated Mario Kart 8. It was this very, very like heavily damage controlled game when it first came out. Obviously, that deluxe fixed all that. It was a very successful re-release that the game journals weren't able to bury. Kind of similar to like what Tears of the Kingdom is going through now on Switch 2. Having outsold Elden Ring, but due to that re-release. But it's we're in this really interesting period in Nintendo's history where a lot of people who grew up in the Wii U era are nostalgic for that specific period. We've seen GameCube babies forever, we've seen N64 babies forever, but we're starting to see Wii and Wii U babies, and them spouting off nonsense about how Mario Kart Wii or 8 was obviously better than World is just gonna get it's just gonna get laughed at by younger people, kind of like how we laughed at Super Nintendo and NES boomers back in the day, right? Every criticism I've seen of Mario Kart World, whether it's in regards to the free roam mode or the track structure or the character select screen or what have you, all of them are just complete gigantic copes. I have never seen a single valid complaint towards Mario Kart World. The default thing everyone always goes to is well, the free roam mode is boring, but that's not the primary feature of the game. This is kind of an alien concept to a lot of you, right? Who are used to seeing open world being the primary draw of video games, but no, free roam is a side mode. It's not meant to be the primary draw of the game. The interconnected nature of the tracks primarily benefits from Grand Prix and Knockout Tour and the way the online mode is structured, right? Free roam is not meant to be the main primary thing of the game. I don't understand what's so complicated about that, but it's been the go-to cope ever since the mode was first announced. Just oh, it's not a good open world game. It's a racing game. You're not evaluating it by the proper metrics. As a racing game, Mario Kart World is peak, and you're constantly seeing people try and downplay that. Whether it's complaining about the mechanics or how the roulette wheel works. A lot of these guys are exposing themselves as never having played a Mario Kart game. The whole item roulette thing. Oh man, it's entirely luck based. I was seeing people come up with really retarded metas. Oh man, the optimal way to play is to stay in second place and then boost past the guy in front right before the finish line so you don't get blue shell. Hey genius, that puts you in the line of sight of the guys behind second place. Okay, it's not some brilliant strategy of instantly winning. It's just a giant cope, honestly, to try to find something wrong with the game. Oh man, I don't win every single race. Yeah, nobody does. That's normal. It's just it's embarrassing how many of these people have adamantly tried to push this nonsense this nonsense idea that the game is underwhelming or that it doesn't have enough content. Demish tried to produce a 59-minute and 12-second long video trying to say Mario Kart World was disappointing, and I can tell you right now without having watched it that that's not going to leave an impact at all. Nobody's going to watch that video and come away thinking that Demish is some hardcore Nintendo critic. It's just gonna come off as just autistic rambling, and that's kind of my view on the criticism of Mario Kart World at this stage. People arguing over whether or not it's a AAA game. It's come on, you are failing to address the actual issue that the game is good, that it's successful, that people are enjoying it. Again, all these copes about the game and these kinds of statements, they really do need to be condemned. It got very old and tired, even pre-release. To this day, you will still see a number of YouTubers insist the Mario Kart World Direct was boring. It was not. I this entire downplaying cycle of trying to destroy Mario Kart World. It's going to blow up in its face in a really big way, similar to how like Tears of the Kingdom blew up. After that initial like Game of the Year Game Award season, right? You can't keep a game this successful and this popular contained eventually. It is going to break free and it's going to be seen as an all-time classic. There is nothing you can do to stop it.